Hello, welcome to the wonderful world of random sequencing. That is one of my channels. The one I will probably be focusing on is my other channel, was called Sequencing Random Numbers. And right now we're dealing with Super Lotto Plus. And to understand Super Lotto Plus or any random situation, random numbers, you have to understand the concept of binary numbers. They occur. The 11, like here's the 11 right here, the 1 1. The 1 1 in binary notation is equal to 3, so you can see how that 3 showed up right there. And so you have to understand also binary decimal numbers. Binary decimal numbers are right here, like for instance, right here we have, let me see, where is it at? This number here, the 1141. It's half binary and half decimal, and the way it is formed is that you got the 111, 111, 111 in binary notation is 7, and linked to a 4 makes 47. So this sequence, so if you see a sequence like 1141, it could sequence to a 47. I already explained the 1 1 binary notation is equal to 3. And this number here, the 11.8, now that forms what we call a metamorphic number. And how the way it does that is that if you translate these, in other words, these two cells, so these two digits here, 11 and 8, if you were to, they equal another number. And if you were to translate those zeros, the 8s and the zeros there, and to double zeros like that, because the 8 has 2 zeros, right? And so you put the 11 up above, and what you get is a metamorphic number, and that number is, when you get a 1 that links to a 0, that's a 6. And if you get another one over here that links to a 0, that also makes a 6. So what you got is 6, 6. And that's equal to 6, 6 is 12. Or the statement 2 6s. 2 6s carries a statement 26 carries a statement 2 6s. So that's that concept of metamorphic numbers. There's also anatomical numbers. An anatomical number is like for instance, the 17.4. The 17 has all the elements of making a 4. It has the 1 and then the L shape that goes like this. It's the upside down 7. And if you look at the 17 upside down, it looks like a 4. So that explains what a anatomical number is, and this is an anatomical sequence. Another thing is virtual numbers. Virtual numbers are right here, and virtual number would be like, for instance, let's say you get a 27 and it's sequenced to a 36. Now, if it sequences to another 36, what that adds up to is 72. And so 27 becomes a virtual number in that situation. It represents 72, and that's what you call a virtual number. Also, there's a concept of bridge numbers. Bridge numbers help to sequence these sequences. And so the bridge numbers are 11, 13, and 14. So we're going to start off right now. I have to introduce you with the calendar days. Calendar days can be sequenced, and also ticket numbers. Now, that you may be wondering, how does that work out? Well, the thing is that we human beings have the synchronicity with randomness, which is actually relational, not random at all. And even though these calendar days have been planned out way in the past, right? And this being the present, the present here, they could be played out over here in these sequences right here. For instance, let me give you an example here. You got the 9. I think it's this one right here. See, this 9 got played out right here. See, even though it is two half steps away from this area, this number could probably carry the sequence actually, because it's related to the 1 1. In other words, this is what the 1 1 is. I mean, the 11 is a binary 3. So this also, you got a 15. Notice that 15 right here. That number got played out right here. And there are other numbers here. For instance, there is the 9. I already talked about the 9, right? The 15. I already said the 15. The 12. Here's the 12. Now this 12 right here got played out right here. See that? So these numbers can play themselves out. So be aware of that. These numbers, like sometimes when you get pairs like this, 3, 3, that's equal to 6. So if you assume that that there's going to be a 33 for whatever reason that you may have, you might want to count on putting a 6 there. So that's something to know. Now I'd like to talk about the characteristic of the 24. The 24 carries the statement 2 4s, which is 4 4. 4 plus 4 is equal to 8. So you could actually get, in other words, if you have a 24 like you have right here, see, and so that could actually sequence to 44 and 8. And as you can see right here, it did play out a 44, see, and then it actually played out an 8, you see. And one other reason why it plays out an 8 is because the 33 has a metamorphic, anatomical number. It's an anatomical number. In other words, if you were to split that 8 in half, what you would get a 3 like this, and a 3 on the other side. So that's what you call an anatomical sequence that's related to 8. And so in other words, here's your 3 3, and then it created an 8. Now I created a 6 too, because 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, you see. I'd like to talk about the statements, like for instance, if you get a 2 that links to a 29, even though you get like right here, you see you have 2 cells, and then the sequences to the right hand side, they express 29. And this becomes kind of a factorial statement of 2 29s. 2 29s is equal to 58. So you can see how that actually got played out. Now, it's important to see that and realize that even over here, when it comes to the calendar date, you see, where you got the 2/20/29, that's the same sort of thing over here. You got but it's done with the 22 on this case over here. But over here, you have the factorial statement of 2, and then right on the right hand side you got 29, so it's 2/29. This also expresses 2/29, and so what it did, it created 58 over here and also 58 over here. So that was the reason why. So if you could see that, if you could see the statement right here, then you could assume it. Now it is kind of a strange situation that it would do it twice, but it actually did it. And in fact, it even does it over here too. You can see that. See that? I'd like to talk about the 26. Now the 26 carries the statement 2 6s. 2 6s. 2 6s is equal to 12. Let me put that right there. Let me see. Now 2 6s is equal to 6 6. 6 plus 6 is equal to 12. Okay, so now if you go over here, notice how you do have a 26 here. You see on the calendar date, and so now you're thinking that it could play out a 26, but it also could play out a 12. So because it's equal to 12. See, so in this situation, so you have to make a judgment call on that. Now, if you notice over here, notice how you do have a 2 2 2. These 2 cells right here, they form 6 6. So that's equal to 12. And over here you have a 12. So there's a high probability that you're going to be playing out 12s. And as you can see over here, you played out a 12 right there. See, it got played out right there. And also over here, this 12 got played out because of this sequence right here, the 22 linked to the 26. That makes 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. Linked to another 6, that's 12. Whenever you get a 22, like over here you have a 22, now that got expressed over here, as you can see. Now one reason why it might have been expressed itself over here is because of this 12. Whenever you get a 12-12 sequence like it does right here, that adds up to that forms a 22. Now the digits on the right hand side, they create a statement, and in this situation you have a pair of numbers, right? And that's equal to 22. And so there's a link with the 22 being right there, and this 12-12 sequence forming that actually kind of creates a 22 statement, you know, on this side here. So that has sequential potential. So if you do assume, for instance, let's say you do have a 12 right there, right? And you have a 22. So you could assume that there's a possibility that it'll create a 12, right? A 12, because 26 is equal to 12. And then you're going to play out this 22, and you could play it out as a bonus. I mean, or a number over within this line. Obviously, it just has to be. In other words, this, if you expect this number to be, it could be over here or it could be over here. So that's basically a call that you'd have to make. Like to talk about now. Notice how you have a calendar date over here of all tens, right? The 10, and over here you have a 10. So this number becomes kind of a special number, even though there's a row of tens here, but being a 10 here becomes now a very, very special number. And in this case, 10. So you have to think, what is 10 related to? Well, that's related to 5 5. So that would be something that you could think about, that the 10 is equal to a 5 5. I'd like to go back to this 58 sequence right here. Now, I already mentioned how it's related to this sequence right here. It's a statement of 2 29s. 2 29s is 58. Now, if you were to play that out and assume it, right? Now, you're going to have an 8 right there, right? Because you're forming a 58 here, see? And so when you have an 8 here and another, and you're assuming a 58, kind of an extended form like that, you already know that you got 8 plus 8, and that's going to equal to a 16, right? And so you could play out a 16 within this sequence right here. Another thing is that whenever you get a cluster of these 8s, like 8, 8, 8, you have to add them up. In this case, it was 8, 8 is equal to 16. 8 plus 8 plus 8 is equal to 24. And that played out right there, you see. Whenever you get a 26 that sequences to a 29, what that creates is an inversion sequence. In other words, this is what you call the 6-9 inversion sequence. Now that could trigger off a 6-9 sequence, and as you can see over here, you do have a 6 here, right? And then it's sequenced to a 9 right there. That forms a 6-9 inversion sequence. And this causes another sequence to be created. In other words, this sequence links to a 3, and so what you have right there is 39, like right here. This is 39, right? And this could actually sequence to a 36. And if you capture this experience right here, this situation right here, where it created a 6-9 inversion, so this thing is going to be happening over and over again. And so you have to imagine what's it going to relate to. And once you see that 3 formed right there, you know that this 39 could sequence to a 36. And if you obviously it could be a hard 36, like a natural 36, or it could be in an extended form. Now, if you imagine it as being an extended form, you would get 2 sequences right there. I'd like to talk about this sequence right here. It's a very special sequence. And what it actually forms, the 12, 11, what it actually forms is 2 numbers, actually. It creates the 111 is equal to 7 in binary notation. And then linked to that 2, it makes 27. Now, 27 carries a statement 2 sevens, which is 7, 7. 7 plus 7 is equal to 14. So there's your 14 right there, and this number here. So this kind of intensifies that sequence. You have the 14 there, and then you have this particular sequence right here being the ticket number. And that also forms what they call a symbolic 24. So that's another thing, is that this 11, 12, it forms 2 numbers. It can form a 27 by its binary relationship, and symbolically it could create a 24. So that there's 2 possibilities, that it could play out a 27 or 24, or if it's 27, it's going to sequence to 14, because 27 carries a statement 2 sevens, which is 7, 7, and 7 plus 7 is equal to 14. I'd like to talk about how this number right here, this is a metamorphic number, the 8 that links to 31. Now, it's important to know that when you have an 8, you might want to translate those into double zeros, and when you link it to a 31, what you get is it's in a horizontal position. So if you imagine it being on top, now what you get over here is that 1 linked to a 0. That makes a metamorphic 9. And over here you got 3 zeros, so that makes 39. Now, since it's in a horizontal position, is it 39 or would it be 36? Because if those double zeros were below here, they would form 36. And so what it actually creates, it creates a 39. It actually creates two sequences, the 39 sequence and the 36 sequence. But since you don't know which one will be playing out first, now it's right here in this particular area, right? That's the sequence. Now that 1 1, this 1 1 sequence, since it didn't get played out here, right? In other words, the 36 or the 39 did get played out here, but this 1 1 1 sequence actually bridges this, it being in this location right here, and you could see that the 39 got played out. And now you know that there's a possibility that's going to sequence to a 36, because this number is equal to 39 and 36. You just don't know which one's going to be playing out first, you know. So that pretty much pretty much we covered a lot of material over here. Give me some thumbs up. I have a channel called The Wonderful World of Random Sequencing that basically deals with roulette, a lot of roulette. The sequences are pretty much the same. Now I have another channel called Sequencing Random Numbers. That's the one I've been doing a lot of lottery, and so I've been dealing with Super Lotto. Later on, I'll probably deal with Fantasy 5. I like working with smaller numbers, you know, and the Super Lottos. They're easy to translate. Anyhow, so glad that you were here and to witness the videos, and we'll see you on the next Super Lotto Plus or Sequencing Random Numbers.